समर्थ बनाओ।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ। बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा। भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, 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 गीता परिवार हमारा।
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु, जो दायकु फल चारि। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे, रामचंद्र के काज संवारे। लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई। सस वदन तुम्हरो जस गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहीसा। यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना, राम मिलाय राजपद दीना। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माही, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के देते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नास निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, हे प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे बासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को भावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म है भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महा सुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि तेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महाडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप।
सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा।
Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. Human beings are indeed the flower of creation, as we are gifted with the most intelligence and mind. In this regard, one of the challenging, yes, best way is to focus our mind on Paramatma to reach the eternal abode. I, Chetana Narayan, welcome you all to the interpretation of the 6th chapter, Atma Sanyama Yoga. Let's begin the session by invoking Almighty's blessings with the Prarthana. I welcome Sarvesha Samagna ji from Mangalore, Karnataka, who is currently a sadhak of level 4 and serving as a technical assistant in level 2.
Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kamsa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnau Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnau Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Bhaiya, for a very melodious recitation. The purpose of knowledge is to expel the darkness of ignorance. I now welcome Jai Shri Tambule ji from Yavatmal, Maharashtra, who's been a part of Geeta Parivar since September 2020, has been serving in all the 4 levels as a trainer and also as a group coordinator for the Deep Prajwalan.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृताम् कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Jayashri ji, for the beautiful Deep Prajwalan. It's now time to welcome our respected speaker for the day. Bhaiya is one of the most distinguished people of Geeta Parivar and has mastered various Indian and foreign languages. His messages are always paved new ways and perspectives to look at the message of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. He has been awarded by Param Pujya Jagadguru, Shri Shankaracharya ji, and I'm humbled and very honored to welcome Vikas Vaidya Bhaiya to enlighten us.
जय श्री कृष्ण. वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरणों में कोटि कोटि नमन. Let us start today's sessions. Last time we had discussed up to श्लोक number 19. यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यत चित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः. Up to this we had covered. Now what next? Paramatma explains further. Today's first shloka, 20th shloka. Yatro paramate chittan niruddhai yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati. Yatro uparamate chittam. In that state of affairs, when the mind has already retired from the active materialistic world thoughts, kamanas, niruddham is that restraint. Yoga sevaya, by performance of yoga. Atmana, your mind. Atmanam, the self. Tushyati is to get satisfied. So this shloka says, Paramatma says in this shloka, in the stage of perfection called trance, samadhi, you have followed all the steps, what we discussed last week, right from Chitodeshe Pratishtapya Sthiramasana Atmanaha Natichitanati Niche Chailajaputaram, all those steps you have followed, you have now entered into the trance, into that samadhi. So when you enter in that stage of trance, samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from the materialistic mental activities by practicing of this yoga. This perfection is characterized How to know that this perfection has been attained? This is characterized by one's ability to see self by pure mind. When you start looking inward and start looking at yourself, and you start identifying yourself within you, then that is the test that you have attained that samadhi, that trance. And when that stage is attained, you relish, you rejoice, and get satisfied in the self. Now, this complete yoga has been condensed in this particular shloka by Paramatma. This entire journey has been condensed in this one shloka. Firstly, steel your subconscious mind through the practice of yoga. The subconscious mind is apramatta. Apramatta means it neither has passion nor does it have the dispassion. No passion, no dispassion about the material world. There is neither any attachment nor aversion in the subconscious mind. This stillness and the total repose, that means the total inactiveness of subconscious mind, will be attained through practice of yoga. Now, there are several well-defined paths of attaining this yoga. We have learned this Dhyana yoga, but there is Bhakti yoga, there is Jnana yoga, there is Hatha yoga, Raj yoga, Kundalini yoga. People who have, they were Kundalini also, Mantra yoga. The Lord says, once the subconscious mind is still and in the complete repose, then the experience of that Supreme Chaitanya will happen through that purified and refined intellect automatically. Remember that Gyan cannot be comprehended, cannot be experienced by the impure intellect. You need the purity of your mind to have that Gyan in you. Having said that, now Paramatma goes further to say, 21st shloka, Sukhamatyatikam yat tad buddhi grahyamathedriyam vetti yatra na chaivayam sthitash chalati tatvataha. Sukhamatyatikam, happiness which is supreme, which is beyond the access of buddhi indriyas, atindriya. Sthitash chalati tatvataha, situated. Chalati is to move. Tatvata is that ultimate truth, tattva. So in short, in that joyous state which you have attained through that trance, through that samadhi, one is situated in boundless spiritual happiness. Sukhamatyatikam, atyanta sukh, atyantik sukh. And this is realized through that transcendental senses, not through the normal senses of your eyes, ears. No, they cannot sense that sukh. And established thus in that situation, that condition, that stage, one never departs from that ultimate truth of having oneness with Paramatma. So the infinite supreme divinity is beyond the senses. When you enter that samadhi, you start experiencing some happiness which is beyond the grasp of your senses. Mind is finite and Paramatma is infinite, eternal. So how can you know the infinite through the finite mind or finite senses? So what you have to do is constantly keep on purifying and refining your intellect by performing spiritual practices. Once the intellect gets deeply distilled, that means deeply purified, refined, the infinite bliss will manifest within such a pure mind. You have to just keep on purifying your intellect. Then that supreme bliss will manifest in your purified mind. This is called the process of self-realization. The yogi attains, he realizes that Parabrahma within himself. And once attained, the yogi never ever moves from that highly evolved state of being. Then whatever the yogi does, be it eating, talking, walking, sleeping, laughing, or even crying, he always will get established in the eternal blissful Paramatma. Outwardly, he may be doing anything. Inwardly, he is already established in that supreme Parabrahma. All his actions, in fact, his entire life, then becomes nothing more than a divine play. Divine play, that's what we call as Leela. So his life also becomes like Leela. That means all the hard work is to be done only once, to enter into that trance once. Once you enter in that trance, then you never come out of it. The Lord will never ever leave you once you attain Him. Perfect your body through Hatha Yoga, that means through asanas, through pranayama. Perfect your mind through mantra yoga, bhakti yoga, dhyana yoga, what we have learned just now. And perfect your intellect with jnana yoga. However, do not think that you can attain Lord so easily. The Lord is very close, closer than your own breath. But it is close only for those whose intentions are pure, whose mind, heart are pure. Otherwise, the Lord could be billions of light years away from you. Now, what is this Sukhamatyatikam, which is beyond the grasp of senses? Let us imagine that on a full moon night in summer, when the cold breeze is blowing on your terrace, you are watching the stars lying down on your bed and listening to some old Bollywood music of black and white era of 60s or maybe 50s. Beautiful songs of Lata Mangeshkar, Rafi, or Mukesh or Kishore are going on. You are enjoying that immensely. And you think this is the pleasure, this is the moment I want to live with. Those songs were meaningful, melodious. But that pleasure starts and it ends. Moreover, that pleasure is a result of your senses meeting the sense object. Your senses, your ears are meeting the sound sense object, and that joy is getting generated within you. It starts and it ends. And it is depending on your senses. The sense objects, that is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, they are conveying that message to you, and then the appropriate reaction is getting immersed in, evolved in your own mind. When the result of sense and sense object is favorable, you feel happy. When the result is unfavorable, you feel unhappy. So it is all depending on the senses and the sense object. But this Sukhamatyatika Yata, that Atyantik Sukh Paramatma is describing here is a permanent, eternal Sukh, joy, pleasure. It is not depending on your senses. Beyond the reach of senses. Atindriya. Atindriya, beyond the senses. This pleasure is Sukhamatyatika Yata Buddhi Grahya Matindriya. Once you taste this Indriya independent Sukh, it is independent of Indriyas, beyond the reach of Indriyas. Then you forget about the sense-dependent Sukh of the worldly pleasures. This is how you can disconnect yourself from the material world. Our main objective is to get disconnected from material world. And this is one way to get disconnected. When you enjoy that happiness within yourself, which is sense-independent, Atindriyam. Once you are in the habit of enjoying that Atindriya moment, then you discard all sense-dependent worldly pleasures. And that stage of Antakarana is called yoga. You are getting connected to Paramatma. Yoga. In other words, your Atmanubhuti, your self-realization, that process has already started. Now, we go to slok number 22. Yam labdhva cha parallabham manyate nadikam tata yasmin sthito radukkhena guruna vichalyate. When you attain that stage of trance samadhi, when you are rejoicing within yourself, that stage, how great is that? Can there be any achievement greater than attainment of Supreme Paramatma? You get a lot of property, you get a lot of buildings, houses, shares, stocks, money, everything. Can it compare? Can it get compared with the attainment of Paramatma? Never. The greatest remuneration in this world is the attainment of the God. Nothing else than that. Nothing else can match that attainment of Paramatma. Once this invaluable wealth is attained, the yogi never gets distressed by any sorrow, any grief, no matter how miserable or how agonizing that sorrow is. Yogi's mind always stays calm and unperturbed. That is the magic of this trance, this samadhi. A small story about Guru Gobind Singh Ji. There was a time when Guru Gobind Singh, the Sikh religious guru, had all the worldly riches and pleasures of life. He had his own kingdom, he had lovely family, a powerful army, and his own people, his praja, used to worship him like God with utmost reverence. But then the time changed. He lost all his 4 sons, 2 died waging a war against Mughals, and 2 had to face very harrowing death when they were buried alive by the Mughals. His father had been brutally murdered by his enemies. His mother too died. Then while waging a battle, which Govind Singh Ji knew that we are going to lose this battle, his soldiers advised him to leave the kingdom. He left the kingdom, taking Paramatma's name loudly, did not run away. He took Paramatma's name loudly and left his kingdom. He went to the forest in the dark night when it was raining, chilly. And the king who used to sleep in his mahal, he had to sleep on the ground, in the forest, on the floor. When it is raining, drenched, fully drenched, he had to sleep in that forest. Everything changed in Guru Gobind Singh Ji's life within a short span of life. But one thing did not change. The joy, the peacefulness on his face. The peaceful smile on his face did not change. Even in that situation, while gazing at the sky, he would say, "My beloved Lord, as long as you are with me, I am not bothered by anything. All I want is you stay with me forever. Then whatsoever that happens may happen, for it will not disturb me in any way." This is the state of Gyan. The catastrophic grief had struck Guru Gobind Singh Ji, but he did not get perturbed. He still maintained his yoga, his connection with the Lord. Such is the steadfast grounding in the Supreme Divinity that no matter how harsh the trials and tribulations are, he does not get distressed by anything, and nothing can displace him from that state of supreme bliss. So this is the magic of that yoga. Let us move on to further. Slok number 23. Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga yoga yoga sanchitam sanishtena yuktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasa. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from the materialistic life. Tam vidya dukkha sanyog. Dukkha sanyog is our miseries of the materialistic world. You get rid of all that. One should engage himself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith, and should not deviate. Anirvinna, no deviation. Anirvinna is no deviation. Should not deviate from that path of spiritualism. Now, yoga means disconnecting from the painful material world and getting united with the blissful super Paramatma. This is yoga in short. And this yoga, Paramatma says, should be practiced with steadfastness and with inspired mind. Our union with pain and world is a result of our accepting the affinity with this materialistic world. And this affinity is merely assumed. It's not real. Our real affinity is with Paramatma only. Our Jivatma is a content of Paramatma, is a fragment of Paramatma. So our real affinity is with Paramatma, not with the material world. But this assumed affinity with the materialistic world is the cause of all distress that we get. As soon as we are disconnected from this union, we get disconnected from the pain, from the body, Sharir Tadatmya, and the world, we attain yoga. We feel our own union with ourself. Ourself is our Jivatma, which is a fragment of Paramatma. We feel our own union with that self, which is constant. It was with us when the body was not there. It is with us when the body is there. And it will continue to remain with us when after a few years, the body will cease to exist. So this is constantly with us. It is eternal and spontaneous. But we forget this union with our own Jivatma, with Paramatma, and get entangled with the materialistic world. The breaking of this affinity with material world then our memory gets revived. We start knowing what exactly we have come here for. Sanishchena yoktavya yogo nirvinna chetasa. This yoga of meditation should be practiced by that yogi, by that striver, you can call him, by having aim of attaining yoga. Which yoga? Samatha yoga, equanimity. We have discussed equanimity last week also. Paramatma, the base foundation of Bhagavad Gita is equanimity, samatha. Samatva yoga uchyate. Samatha is yoga. You start looking out at all people in equanimity, you are doing yoga. You have started handling your own emotions and sentiments with equanimity, you are doing yoga. Antarbahya yogi, who handles his own emotions of sukha, dukkha, favorable, unfavorable, with equanimity, is doing yoga, even if he is living in this material world. So, with determination and undistracted mind, you have to aim at performing this yoga. And in order to realize this state of equanimity, the striver should have a fixed mind that he has to attain yoga equanimity, come what may, even in the face of all temptations and attractions of this materialistic world. Now we know that this world has happiness, unhappiness, sukha, dukkha. It is like the coins. Coin has two sides. Head is sukha, tail is dukkha, let us say. Likewise, pendulum of the clock. It keeps moving right to left, sukha, dukkha, sukha, dukkha, sukha, dukkha. It is like pendulum. Everybody's material life has these two sides, and this is a universal truth. Nobody is permanently happy, nobody is permanently dukkhi. But in spirituality, there is one huge thing beyond these two things of sukha and dukkha. That coin of spirituality has no second side at all. It has only one side. That coin has only one side. When I say coin has only one side, many of you will remember the movie Sholay. When the Amitabh Bachchan and Dharmendra, when they are in the problem, they will toss the coin and they will take a decision. If head, then this. If tail, then this. At the end of the movie, we come to know that the coin had only one side. Only head on both the sides. So this coin of spirituality is like that. It has only sukha, no dukkha. There is only and only eternal bliss that exists in that spiritual world, nothing else. And once you experience that bliss, then no calamity of material life can distract you, can disturb you. We have seen this from the example of Guru Govinda Singh Ji. This state of antakaran, which is devoid of dukkha, is called Brahmananda, Atmananda. You know what is satisfaction once you test this bliss within yourself. And there is no achievement greater than this when you come to know this ultimate truth. It is like the war. The war is fought, and when the Senapati, the commander, he wins the battle, he becomes victorious in great joy. He is celebrating his victory. While celebrating his victory, he is not bothered about the injuries and pains that he has suffered due to war. He may be bleeding, but there is still a smile on his face of victory. So this is the same way. You are enjoying, you are rejoicing, your trance, your samadhi, your oneness with Paramatma, forgetting about all the injuries given to you by this material world. All the passions and dispassions of this world have caused you immense injuries, but you ignore all that. You don't care about it once you enter that blissfulness of the mind. So this is, but one thing is to be understood that to achieve this stage of samadhi is not easy. Strong mental resolve is necessary, determination is required. In one standard of this yoga, you may have to spend half of your life. In school, we spend 1 year in one stage, in one standard, first standard, second standard, third standard. This yoga, you may have to spend half of your life in first standard, possible. But don't lose your heart. Paramatma says, have patience. Many of us are enthusiastic in the beginning to start the practice of yoga. Yes, tomorrow I will start the yoga. Very good. It has good effects on mind and body. So I will start yoga. And once you sit in yoga, within 10 minutes, you feel as if I should get samadhi, I should get into trance, I should get into that. enlightenment. Is it going to happen like a magic? People attend samadhi classes for that. You cannot take tuition for getting samadhi. You can know the steps, how to do the yoga. Those steps you can attain. But samadhi is something which you have to experience yourself. Nobody can teach you samadhi. So the initial enthusiasm is to be maintained till end. Then only probably something will happen in your life and yoga will change your life forever. Okay, we go to the next shloka now. Shloka number 24. Sankalpa prabhavan kamans tyakva sarvana sheshataha manasevendriya gramam viniyamya samantataha. Next, sankalpa, all the mental attachment. Prabhavan, prabhavan is to get evolved, born out of kaman, materialistic desire. Tyakva, to relinquish, to give up. Asheshataha, completely. Don't keep anything shesh, don't keep anything balanced. Asheshataha, completely. Indriya gram is our set of indriyas, 5 Jnanendriya, 5 Karmendriya. Viniyamya, to restrain, to control, to regulate. Samantataha, from all sides. From all sides. One should abandon completely without exception. This shloka says, one should abandon completely without exception all materialistic attachment which are born out of desires and lust, that is kamanas. Attachments born out of kamana and lust should be abandoned completely. The sankalpa prabhavan kamas tyakva sarvana sheshata. And manaseve indriya grama viniyamya samantaha. And thus, control of all the senses from all the sides of mind should be done. So determinedly and detachedly renounce all the desires with all attachments and then control your senses. In second adhyaya, there is a beautiful shloka, which means that it is like Kurmonga Aniva Sarvasha. You may be remembering that shloka. It is like tortoise, when the tortoise feels that there is some danger around me, it will take inward all its limbs and it will lie down like a small piece of rock. From a distance, you will not know whether it is a tortoise or a piece of rock. So that you have to implement here. And when you sense some danger in the material world, that some outward attraction may distract me, you have to withdraw all your senses from that material world. So desires and sankalpa originate from the underlying vasanas which are hidden in us and the samskars of our past life and this life as well. And they are the root cause of all vasanas. Lord says in this shloka, throw them out completely from the subconscious mind. Asheshataha, asheshataha. Now this is extremely profound task for us. How to throw out all the kamanas, vasanas from our subconscious mind. Easier said than done. Stopping our thoughts for some time is not enough. As long as the seeds of samskar are active in the deeper layers of our mind, the vasanas will keep propping up, will keep awakening. Desires will keep on sprouting. Sankalpas, the attachments will keep on being formed here and there, and this will keep on translating into the actions, which most of the time will be either rajasic action or tamasic action. And we have to do away with this. So thus, deep cleansing is required. One needs to eradicate the very root of this entire chain, which means total destructions, total cleaning of samskars. Now, how can the samskar be destroyed? How can the subconscious be cleared of all the vasanas? There are two ways. Yoga Nidra, that means the trance, that samadhi, which you enter into. And second is detached witnessing. Go out of your own mind and watch your mind from where the thoughts are coming, how they are getting processed in the mind, and what action the mind is taking on those thoughts. Observe all that as a witness. When you do functioning of your mind, when you know functioning of your own mind, then you will know how to start controlling your mind. If you think I am mind, then you cannot control your mind. As an observer, you have to first observe how does it function. And then gradually mind will get emptied of all sankalpa and desires. Now, what is this Yoga Nidra? Yoga Nidra means yogic or psychic sleep. It is a state of consciousness, not sleep. It is a state of consciousness. It is called Yoga Nidra, but it is not sleep. It is a state of consciousness between waking and sleeping. And this gets induced through guided meditation. This stage is called trance, samadhi. Yoga Nidra is a form of active meditation. The practitioner of this Yoga Nidra, of this trance, of this samadhi, follows the instructions regarding different kinds of actions which he has to take for entering into that samadhi, and without becoming attached to it. Without becoming attached to it. This Yoga Nidra is a part when you are entering into that trance. People outwardly may think you are sleeping, but deep inside, your conscious is awakened. You are observing your own subconscious and cleansing it. Swachha Bharat you are doing within yourself. People may think you are sleeping, Yoga Nidra, but that's not so. That stage between awakening, waking up and sleep, that Yoga Nidra, is used so that you get disconnected from the material world and you concentrate within yourself. As far as world is concerned, you are sleeping. But as far as you are concerned, you are not sleeping, you are awake. You are cleaning your subconscious. That is Yoga Nidra. And then independent watching, as we said, the mind should be observed independently by us. And then only we know the functioning of mind, from where the thoughts are coming, where they are going, how the mind is processing. When we know the functioning of mind, then only it is possible to control it. Okay, let's go further. Slok 25. Shanai Shanai Ruparamed Buddhya Dhrutigruhitaya Atmasanstam Manakrutva Nakinjadavichintayet. Shanai Shanai. Paramatma says gradually, step by step, you should hold back. Dhrutigruhitaya. You should do it by conviction. Atmasanstam. The place where you are placed is spirituality. Na kinchita api chintayet. You should not think of anything else. So Paramatma says, gradually, step by step, Shanai Shanai, one should become situated in that trance, in that samadhi, by means of intelligence sustained of full conviction. And thus, the mind should be fixed on the self alone. The self within us. On that self alone, the mind should be fixed and should think of nothing else. So Lord says, don't be in a hurry for the achievement of trance, samadhi. It will come slowly. It will come gradually. Shanai, Shanai. It will happen slowly. Thus practice with patience as the progress will occur bit by bit. You don't expect progress to happen in one lot entirely. It will happen bit by bit. Today we will be able to maybe get a trance for a few seconds. Tomorrow maybe a few additional seconds. Like that, the progress will happen. But remember at the same time that the practice needs the important supplement. The yogic practice needs important supplement of complete vairagya. That means dispassion. That means keep practicing with patience and dispassion. Both are important. Patience is important and dispassion is also important. And being neither too lethargic nor to be in a great hurry. We have experienced this in our day-to-day life, that you want to push somebody that do get ready quickly, you have to go out, get ready quickly. The fellow may put his buttons upside down and will delay you further. Somebody is taking shower, you try to push him, finish it off fast, you have to go out, finish it off fast. The fellow in a hurry of taking shower may slip in the bathroom and fall down also. So, Paramatma says, give people enough time and progress will happen step by step, gradually. Shanai, Shanai. Don't be in a hurry at all. So you plan your actions step by step. Lord says that spiritual evolution is of utmost importance in our life. But it is equally important that you take one step at a time and don't be in a haste to accomplish everything in a day. Don't insist that I will get into samadhi today. It's not going to happen. Can you really get instant samadhi without preparation and practice? It's not possible. Lord says, you will keep falling, you will keep failing, you will keep making mistakes. Then keep rectifying your mistakes. Learn from your own mistakes. Keep rectifying today's mistake. Don't repeat it tomorrow. That's all. But don't worry. Paramatma says, Paramatma has immense patience. Paramatma like people who have patience and work patiently towards their objective, and they are not in a great hurry. If something doesn't happen in this lifetime, it will happen in next lifetime. Paramatma has abundant patience. Thus practice patiently and diligently and immersing your mind in Supreme Lord, ensuring that no worldly kamana, desire, lust distracts you. So this is Shane Shane Ruparme Buddha Adhuti Guhidaya Atma Swasta Manakratva Akinkidapi Chintaye. What to do further? Mind is fickle, mind is unsteady, it keeps running in different direction. You sit for meditation and the mind will sit in a restaurant, or it will go to a theater, or it will go in a mall. Mind is like that. So how to do that? How to bring back the mind? What is the process? Next loka. Yato yato nischarati manaschainchalamastheram tatastadanyamidat atmandeva vashanayet. Paramatma says that from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it from there. It has gone to the mall, pull it back and bring it into your meditation room. It has gone to the restaurant, pull it back and put it in your meditation room where you are sitting. And bring it back and then control of yourself. Try to control it yourself as much as possible. Once this process is repeated 10, 15, 20 times, the mind will get tired finally. And it will sit with you as you are wanting it to sit. Make it tired. Tired body sleeps quickly. We know it. Similarly, tired mind becomes quiet, still, quickly. As we tire our body and go to deep sleep, tire your mind. Withdraw it again and again. When it gets tired, it will go into that stillness, in that calmness, what you are wanting. So you have to eliminate all the reasons due to which your mind wanders in this material world. Why the mind is going out? Why it doesn't want to sit with you in your meditational practice? Why it wants to go in the mall or in the restaurant or in the friend circle? Let us find out the reason why mind is wandering. For example, you are sitting for meditation and some thought comes in your mind of some beautiful lady. Or you are walking on the street, you see a beautiful lady. Some urge gets evolved. After a moment, you find guilt within yourself and you blame yourself that that urge has come in me. I am a bad man. That urge should not have come into me. You think seriously about it. Then you take a decision. I will not look at any women. Is it practicable? Taking such a decision, is it practicable that you will not look at any women? It's not possible. We know it. So one ought to know as to why looking at woman, some urge is coming in me. Why it is happening? You will understand that the mind is always looking for joy. Sensual gratification, it is looking for, everyone is seeking for joy, happiness, pleasure, bliss. But when you find this answer that mind is looking for joy, go to the next level of asking question to your own mind. What sort of joy you want? The joy which will turn into misery after some time, or the joy which will remain permanent and eternal? What kind of joy you want? Think. Why do we want wealth, fame, success, power, position, everything, man, woman, whatever? Or indeed anything else that we want? Ponder over this, why we want this. You will finally arrive at a conclusion that the root cause of all desires is your longing for the eternal joy, for everlasting bliss. And when you go deeper into thinking, you will get this pristine joy only from the eternal, ever blissful Paramatma, from nowhere else. Thus the Lord says, eradicate all the root cause of this desire and keep your mind in total repose, stillness, calmness. You have to first understand and then eliminate the reasons that disturb your mind. Once you eliminate those reasons, then the mind will remain calm and still. And then keep on working towards stilling your subconscious mind through this process. Subconscious mind can be stilled only when the mind has emptied of all of its desires. And this is This will occur, this will happen only when one understands the basic root cause of disturbed mind, why the mind is getting disturbed. If we understand this very well, our own deep layers of our own mind, then we can achieve that samadhi, that trance. This is further explained by Paramatma in the next sloka. So we go to next sloka, sloka number 27. Prashanta manasam yena yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti shanta rajasam brahmabhutama kalmasham. The yogi whose mind is totally fixed in me, Paramatma says, he verily attains the highest perfection of that spiritual happiness. Fix your mind in Paramatma totally and then attain that perfection of spiritual happiness. He is beyond the clutches of Rajoguna, that person. That means passion. All passions come in our mind due to Rajoguna, Rajasi Guna. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Lord, with the Paramatma. And thus he is freed from all the reactions of his past misdeeds. The yogi whose mind is peaceful is free from sin, that means. Whose Rajoguna, that means the principle of activity and restlessness. The restlessness, anxiety comes in us because of our Rajoguna. But if Rajoguna has been quietened down, then such a yogi who has realized the Supreme, the Parabrahma, he attains that spiritual bliss. This is what this shloka says. Akalmasham. Akalmasham is one who is free from tamasic disposition. That means he is free from inactivity, laziness, delusion, confusion. That is all tamasic guna. So he is free from that. Akalmasham. Shanta Rajasam. Shanta Rajasam is a person whose passions have been subdued. Rajasam is Rajasi Guna. His Rajasi Guna has been subdued, then he becomes Shanta. No anxiety, no disturbance in the mind. The Rajasic Gun makes you greedy. The greed and activity you take, you always expect some return reward from that activity. And that gives you the restlessness and then the thirst for enjoyment. These are all Rajasic disposition. Once you do away with this Rajasic disposition, then you get that Shanta Rajasam. Shanta Rajasam. Then Prashanta Manasam. Prashanta Manasam is one whose mind becomes calm because he has given up, he has relinquished all tamasic and rajasic, both dispositions. Both passions he has given up. And he is free from the worldly distractions. Here Prashanta means that yogi does not accept mind as his own. He is looking at his mind, as we discussed earlier, as a witness, as a third person. So his mind becomes free from attachments and aversion once his mind is not he. He is observing his mind as a third person, as a detached witness. This is the only way to make your mind still and calm naturally. Sukham Upaiti, Paramatma says, it means that the yogi has not to make any special efforts to attain this supreme bliss. It comes to him automatically, verily, on its own. Now what next? After attaining that, Paramatma says further, Yunjannivam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmasha sukhena brahma sansparsham atyantam sukhamashnute. Once you attain that supreme bliss, then thus the self-controlled yogi who is constantly engaged in that yogic practices, he becomes free from the contamination of his past deeds. And then he achieves the highest stage of perfection, that spiritual happiness, when enjoying the infinite bliss of getting one with Paramatma, oneness with Paramatma. Yunjannevam Sudatmanam Yogi Vigata Kalmasha. A yogi constantly unites himself with the God. And Vigata Kalmasha. And thus he becomes free from the feeling of egoism and mindness. Mindness is me, mera, all that. So he gets rid of this feeling of egoism and mindness. And the freedom from these two thoughts of egoism and mindness means freedom from sins. Because the affinity of egoism and mindness with the world are the root causes of our committing the sinful acts. So Yunjannevam Sudatmanam Yogi Vigata Kalmasha. Sukhena Brahma Sansparsham Atyantam Sukhamashnute. In unity with the God, the feeling I does not exist at all. nor does there remain any residue of that I, impression of that I in you. Infinite bliss is the state in which the yogi is immersed in the God and loses his identity. Such phrases have come many times in Bhagavad-Gītā. Imperishable bliss, we discussed this in our 5th Adhyay. Supreme bliss, we discussed this in this Adhyay itself, Shlok 21. All this means the divine bliss. All this means the divine bliss. So once you are successful in detaching from the material world, immediately the process of self-understanding, Atma Prachiti, has to commence. You have detached yourself from materialistic world. Then looking inward, that process has to start. That means when you attain nirvana, nirvana is what? Nirvana is detachment from material world. That is nirvana. Then the steps towards Brahma Nirvana, that means your identification with the Lord, they have to commence forthwith, without delay. Detaching, forgetting material world is the first step. Next step is to get deeply rooted in the remembrance of Paramatma. There is this phrase called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, that means trance condition of thoughtlessness. That is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is the highest stage of meditation. Self-realization start at that stage when you are entering into that Nirvikalpa Samadhi. One who has attained, who has trained this mind in attainment of that spiritual happiness can only be successful in practicing this highest level of trance, highest level of Samadhi. And for that, you have to Shantarasam, you have to do away with your Rajasic Pravritti. Once you are free of kamanas and desires, you start feeling a strange peacefulness in your own mind. That is called Atmik Shanti. And once you test that Atmik Shanti, then you don't get disturbed by the worldly pleasures and riches. You don't care about worldly pleasures. That Shanti is referred by Paramatma in this shloka and the earlier shloka as well. And this Shanti is not the Shanti you get by sleeping or by taking some sedative drug. This Shanti is alert as well. This Shanti is alert. And then that Shanti leads you to Atmanubhuti, self-realization. Once you attain self-realization, there is no pleasure greater than that. This is the topmost stage of Sukha Paramatma. It's Sukham Uttamam. Sukham Uttamam. So once you Anushnati means once you experience that, then there is nothing greater than that. Okay, let us proceed further to slok number 29 and 30. Sarvabhutasthamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. We'll take 30 also along with it. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvai cha mai pashyati tasyahanna pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. These two shlokas are wonderful. They convey the entire Bhagavad-Gītā to you in a concise form. Paramatma says, the true yogi observes his own Atma in all beings, and he also sees every being in himself. Sarvabhutastamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. And he sees everywhere in equanimity. Again, the principle of equanimity, Paramatma is emphasizing. And 30th shloka says, Yumam pashyati sarvatra sarmai jamai pashyati tasyahanna pranashami sachamena pranashyati. One who sees me, that means the universal self, present in all the living entities, and all living entities existing in me. He sees me in everyone, and he sees everyone in me. Yumam pashyati sarvatra sarmai chamai pashyati. For such a person, Paramatma is guaranteeing tasyahamna pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. For such a person, I am never out of sight for him, nor is he out of sight for me. So we have this close relation then. These two shlokas explain the stage of Brahmatmaikya, unification of Atma and Brahma. From the spirituality point of view, as well as from the bhakti, devotional point of view. This Brahmatmaikya, unification of Atma and Paramatma, is the basic foundation of moksha and Nishkam Karma Yoga. When you develop this vision described in these two shlokas, then the difference between Jnaya means the one which you want to know, Paramatma, Jnata, you yourself, and Jnana, That means the method through which you want to obtain that Neya, all this difference diminishes. There is another phrase for that, Upasya, Upasak and Upasana. Upasya is Paramatma. Upasak is you yourself, and Upasana is the method through which you are praising that God. You are going closer to that God. Once you do this, then the Dvaita, that means the duality, ends. Duality means I am different, Paramatma is different. This is duality. And Advaita starts. Advaita is I and Paramatma are one. He is not different, I am not different, we are one. This is Advaita. You see, a small wave gets created in the river water in the wind when it is blowing. But that small wave is also water only. It's a part of river only. Similarly, Atma is no different than Paramatma. Like that wave of water is not different than water. Similarly, Atma is no different than Paramatma. It appears to be different due to the Maya or due to our affinity to the Prakriti, to the material world. When you get this Gyan that I am not Prakriti attached, I need to be attached with the Paramatma, of which I am a fragment. 15th Adhyaya Bhagavad-Gītā. Then this vision of Brahmatmaikya, that means unification of Atma and Paramatma, starts getting developed in you. And then you say, Sarvabhutastamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani. In Marathi, we say, Je Pindite Brahmandi. That means whatever exists in Yashti, that means in your own Shri, in your own body, the same thing exists in Samashti. The same Atma resides in an individual and the same resides in the universe. Sant Tukaram goes further and makes it more simple. He says, Tuka mane je je bhete, tete vate mi aise. Whatever, whomsoever I meet, I feel as if I am meeting myself. How simple. Nothing can be explained in more simpler words than this. Je je bhete, tete vate mi aise. Whomsoever I meet, I feel as if I am meeting myself. That is Sarvabhutastamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yutatma Sarvatra Samadarshana. So one who does not think that I am different, Paramatma is different, and all other people are different, and he firmly believes that Paramatma, me, and all people are same element, same tattva exists in all. All entities exist in Paramatma and in me. One who has developed this great vision of equanimity, for him, Paramatma says, I am never far away from him and he is never far away from me. I am close to him, he is close to me. Now, this particular statement from Paramatma may raise a question that is Paramatma doing partiality? He is giving preference to his devotees and not giving preference to non-devotees. It's not so. Paramatma takes care of even the God haters. Even those who hates Paramatma, for them also Paramatma is providing the food and shelter. Look at it this way. On a chilly night, you go out with your friends and family, and then you are singing, gossiping, talking in the group of people. It's very cold outside, so someone burns the campfire. Now, those who are sitting close to campfire, they get more heat from the campfire, and those who sit far away from it, they are getting less heat. In that situation, do you blame the campfire? That campfire is doing partiality with those who are getting more and with those who are not getting more, a similar amount of heat. Look, we don't blame the campfire. Similarly, in a winter cold day, when you're sitting inside your house where there's no sun coming, you start shivering, saying that it's too cold today. There is sunlight, bright sunlight outside. You go outside outside your house and stand in the balcony in the sun. You get the heat from the sun. Then you feel happy. But in that situation, do you blame the sun? That sun is doing partiality. It is giving light only to those who are standing outside, and it is not giving light to those who are hiding inside their house. We don't blame the sun. So same situation is there. When Paramatma says, I am not far away from him and he is not far away from him, we should remember these two examples and understand this particular. Yumam Pashati Sarvatra, Sarvaichame Pashati, Tasyahanna Pranashyami, Sachamena Pranashyati. So this is the meaning Paramatma sees. One who sees me everywhere and sees everyone in everything in me, he never gets separated from me, and I never get separated from him. Now, I am never far from him, and he is never far from me. So how can you get close to God? We want to be close to God. How? First, find him in yourself. Once you find Paramatma in yourself, then only you will be able to find him in other people, in everything else, in everybody else. People often complain that how can we find God in those who are evil, deceitful, unethical, unrighteous, corrupt, wicked people? How to find God in those people? Well, we should understand, if such thoughts are coming to our mind, that means we have not found God within ourselves. Have we found? The one who has seen, experienced Paramatma within himself, he alone can see Paramatma in others. So search and find the Lord within you first. Imagine and evoke loudly the sentiment that I am Krishna. It is Krishna's Chetana in me. Krishna is Paramatma. I am Paramatma. I am Krishna. It is Krishna Chetana in me. Krishna is Paramatma and I am Paramatma. Try to evoke this sentiment in you. Try to understand that body is untrue and so is the mind. Both are asat. Only Krishna is the truth, ultimate truth. Thus live with this sentiment of being Krishna, nothing but Krishna. Now, when we want to live like Krishna, we don't have to dress like Krishna. We don't have to take a fruit in our hand or put a mukut on our head. That's not expected. But we should feel the sentiment from within of our heart. Within our heart, we should have that sentiment that I am Krishna. But being Krishna, is it so easy? Krishna embraces even his enemies. So you too start loving your enemies because you have the sentiment of that I am Krishna. Embrace your enemies. Can you do that? If you do that, then you can say that yes, I am Krishna. Krishna did not hate anyone, not even Duryodhana. Do you know that Duryodhana was a beloved disciple of Lord Krishna's elder brother Balaram? He was a close friend of Balaram. But not even once Krishna asked Balarama to keep away from Duryodhana. Nor did he ask Balaram that as I am supporting Pandavas, you should also support Pandavas. Never. Krishna even offered his army to Duryodhana. That is God. Can we do it? Can we offer help to our own enemy? Probably not. So having sentiment that I am Krishna is not so easy. We have to follow what gunas Paramatma had and what gunas I have. Daivasur Sampat Bhagavad 16th Adhyay, we should remember. Do I have Devi Gun in me? Then only I can say that I am Krishna. Having Asuri Gun and saying I am Krishna is a myth. You are cheating yourself. So these are the few statements Paramatma has made. We go further to slok number 31. Sarvabhutastitam yomam bhajatte kattvamasthita sarvada vartamanopi sayogi vai vartate. Now Paramatma explains this further. He who is established in union is one with me. He worships me as abiding in all beings. Though he is engaged in all sorts of activities, he dwells in me. He is living in me. In Shlok 30, Paramatma said, Yumam Pashati Sarvatra, Sarvachame Pashati, Tasyahanna Pranashami, Sachamena Pranashati. Lord explained that he is never out of sight for the devotee, nor is he ever out of sight of him. Why? Because a devotee identifies himself with the God who abides in all beings. This is what we call Advaita Bhav. This oneness and sameness of devotee and God is called Ekatva Masthitaha in this shloka. Further, Paramatma says, Sarvabhuta Sthidam Yoma Bhajati. God pervades everywhere, in all persons, all things, all incidences, all circumstances. That is Vasudevam Sarva Iti. All is God. This conviction of a devotee is his worship for the God. Wherever he sees, Vibhuti Yoga, the 10th Adhyay, Vibhuti Yoga, wherever you see, you feel it is a Vibhuti of Paramatma. That is Bhajati of Paramatma everywhere. Worshipping Paramatma in all forms. Sarvatha Varta Manopi Sayogi Mai Vartate. God says further that the devotee dwells in him. Here the question may arise, whether other creatures don't dwell in Paramatma or what? The answer is no. All creatures dwell in him. But by attaching importance to the world, they neither know nor accept that they dwell in Paramatma. They do not regard the world, the universe, as a manifestation of God. They consider God different and this universe is different. So Paramatma says, those people who dwell in me, they have this conviction that God, world, universe is same. This world, this universe is a manifestation of Paramatma only. No matter what action such a yogi performs, he always abides in Paramatma because he is seeing God everywhere. Sarvabhutastamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani. So that person, he is outwardly doing action like every person has to take, but within his life, within his own mind, he is abiding in the God. And we know that we have outer life and we have inner life. And whatever is our inner life is the real life. If in your inner life you are living with Paramatma, then you are a yogi. Outwardly, you may be acting the way other people are acting. But in your inner life, you need to be one with the God. I think we should stop here. We'll take further shlokas in the next session. Thank you so very much for listening to me. And then we'll say the prayer. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Rajapriyam Dharma Samstapakam Veeram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna to all. Now the session is open for questions and answers. If anyone has any questions, feel free to raise hand and ask your questions. I will try my best to give appropriate reply to your question.
Thank you so much, Vikas Bhaiya, for the pearls of wisdom, beautifully iterating the fact of finding God within everyone and everything around us. I'm sure each of us here had a small moments of introspection and realizations of what we learned over the past week. So the session is now open to questions. Please raise your hand and we request you to also keep your video on so that we can have you on spotlight.
Okay, has anyone experienced this Sarvabhutastamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani? Have you thought about this particular shloka? Sarvabhutastamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani. Ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana. Can we develop this sight? That I am in Paramatma is there in all are there in Paramatma. And I look at them in equanimity. I am equipoised to all. Can anyone speak on this? Feel free to raise questions. It's open discussion. Sixth Adhyaya is one of the most important adhyayas of Bhagavad-Gītā, Atma Sanyam Yoga. If we understand the intricacies of ourselves, then only we can do Atma Sanyam. If we don't understand ourselves, how can we do Atma Sanyam? So for Atma Sanyam, we need to understand ourselves first. And Paramatma is himself giving us the training. Yogi. Paramatma himself is a big yogi. He is giving us training of yoga. We are fortunate enough to learn directly from Lord Krishna. Okay, I see some hands raised.
Yes, Bhaiya. We have Amarjit ji.
Yeah.
Also Dioram ji. Yes.
Please unmute. Yes.
Yes.
Dioram Bhaiya, you're muted yourself. Can you please unmute? Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
My question-
I just last time I have a question regarding last time session.
Yeah.
How to concentrate? It is said that Nasika Gramswan means how to see at nose tip because both eyes we can't see that. The eyes give divergent views.
See, C means
Sampreksha nasika gram swan dishascha navalokayan.
you don't have to
So,
look this way, that way.
it should be
at the tip of your nose. You have to look at tip of your nose. You may not be able to.
Yes, but both eyes cannot look.
No. You see, you
Hello?
may not be able to see the tip physically, but you have to put your sight on the tip. When you make your retinas focused on your tip, as we discussed last time, the retinas give an influence on the gland on the backside of your brain, and that regulates the flow of hormones. When the hormone flow is stabilized, your mind gets stabilized. So putting sight here has that effect. Through retina, you are focusing here, and the retina is giving influence on that gland in the backside of your brain, which is controlling the flow of hormones.
Because, I'm just asking because, if you look with one eye, you will see one side, the other eye, you will see other side of the nose. That is
I agree with you. But the thing is, seeing means physically you may not be able to see the tip of your nose. Physically, you may not be able to see. Possible. A Chinese person whose nose is so much depressed inside, probably he will never to see his own tip, nose of the tip. So, but
because
you have to focus here. You have to focus here. You may not be able to see. You may be able to see. You may not be able to see. People who have long nose, they may be able to see the tip of their nose. People who have short nose, they may not be able to see their nose. It's possible.
No, what happened? No,
This exercise is not for the nose. This exercise is not for the nose. This exercise is for the eyes, the retina of your eyes, not for the nose.
Okay, because you need to be squint-eyed to look at only one point which is so close.
Yeah. No, you will not develop squintness if you look from both eyes at the tip of your nose. This is only an exercise for the retina of both the eyes. Because the idea is to influence your gland, which controls the flow of hormones, which will help in stabilizing. So this exercise is for the retina, is for the eyes, not for the nose.
And
you do pranayam.
Okay, you also said something about this this portion.
That is the 10th gate. Sarvadvarani Sayyame Manordhya Murnadhyatmana Pranamasto Yoga Dharanam. So this is the 10th gate. In 5th Adhyay, we have learned there are 9 gates. Navadvare Puri Raiva Kurvanakare. Navadvare. We are living in a Navadvarpur. Paramatma says, like Raipur, Jabalpur, Bhagalpur. Our body is Navadvarpur. That is a wonderful name Paramatma has given to our body. You are living in a city called Navadvarpur. So in 5th Adhyay, Paramatma described about 9 gates of our body. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1, 7, and 2 for the body waste disposal. So 7 plus 2, 9. But 8th Adhyay describes the 10th gate here, which is on the top of your skull. So that when we discuss 8th Adhyay, we'll discuss that in more details. But for the 6th Adhyay, you have to focus here so that your hormone flow is regularized and your mind gets still, calm. This Adhyay is about Atma Sanyam, and then we have to focus that our mind becomes still and calm. Devoid
and
of all
regulate our breath also, equal breath.
That you have to equalize your incoming and outgoing breath.
Okay.
Incoming and outgoing breath, you have to equalize. When breath has been equalized, mind has been stilled, that is the way you go into trance. That's samadhi, that yoga nidra, what we discussed today. So yoga nidra, samadhi, trance are the names, are the same stage. When you are doing that, Shucho Deshe Pratishtha, for light from that shloka, how to select the place. It should be clean, it should not be too high, it should not be too low. You should have a grass, then you put some deer skin, on top of it put some small soft cloth, then sit on it. So all those steps what we have followed. Ultimate result is this, that you enter into that trance.
I just want to confirm, that is what I heard from others. Was it that Jnaneshwara was, the Nathpanthi were expert in this? Is it so?
All yogis are expert in this. All yogis are expert in this. There is no yogi who is not knowing Atma Sanyam. Everybody is expert in this. This is the basic requirement of a yogi. All were yogis.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Hello.
Amarjit, are you? Yeah, you can go ahead.
Guru Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Actually, I have a small clarification from you. There are, if I understand correctly, there are 4 bhavas to reach the moksha.
Hmm.
The first you get Aham Brahmasmi.
Hmm.
Then afterwards that Advait bhava comes into picture.
Hmm.
Tattvamasi and all this. Now, but when the first stage you reach Aham Brahmasmi, that then you get, there is a chances, or mostly there is a probability, you get affected by the ego.
Hmm.
So how the yogi try to overcome this difficulty? If you can just guide me.
You see, we learned today, yato nishyati manashchanchalma sthiram tatasto nime atmaneva vashanayat. Mind is fickle, mind is unsteady, mind is not stable. It keeps running to different directions. You have to pull it back. And as we discussed, you have to tire your mind. Make it tired, totally tired. A tired mind only can be stilled and calmed. So like we say that you do a lot of exercise in the evening or you go for a long walk in the evening, then you can sleep very well when your body is tired. So this is Yoga Nidra. A sort of Nidra, Yoga Nidra. For Yoga Nidra, you have to tire your mind. Once your mind is tired, then only it can become free of, devoid of kamanas, desire, which external effects can be cut down when your mind is tired. And what Advaita and Aham Brahmasmi, Advaita and Aham Brahmasmi are the same things. When you say Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma, I am Paramatma, in Advaita also you say the same, that we and Paramatma are one. So Aham Brahmasmi and Advaita is one and the same thing. But the people who have reached that Advaita Bhava, at that stage, they want to come back to Dvaita Bhava. That is a wonderful thing.
Correct.
Like Pundalika,
Yeah.
Ji came to him because he loved him so much. He got afraid that now I am going to lose my identity because I am going to get merged in this Paramatma. He didn't want to get merged in Paramatma. Once you become one with Paramatma, then you stop doing your sadhana of Paramatma. You start loving Paramatma. You stop loving Paramatma because you have become part of Paramatma. A true devotee, he wants to maintain his identity. That is the ultimate. See, initially we are having Dvaita Bhav, that I am different from my devotee. Then you reach to a stage when you say Advaita Bhav, me and Paramatma are same. Then you again come to that Dvaita Bhav because you want to maintain that Dvaita Bhav so that you can constantly worship Paramatma. If you become Paramatma, whom to worship then?
Correct. Yeah. And that's necessary to overcome that particular feeling.
So this is all. Yes.
Don't you think? Do you think by awakening the chakras,
yes,
that can help?
Definitely, it helps.
But
there
again,
are different techniques.
Awakening chakras, I tried once. And unfortunately, at the fourth stage, I thought of leaving it up because I think I was not prepared to awaken the chakras. Because what happens, you get all these symptoms like perspirations and all the things. And then first thing you get affected by the bad, those are the waves around you. And then you go to the sattvic waves effect because they are far off from you. So one has to really overcome this particular bad waves. They are close to the earth, affecting you in turn. And that is how it was started happening with me. So that is the reason I left this chakra sadhana, and I took the advice of one of my friends who is also doing things. So what he told me is that you create a kavach, a quick kavach before you do any sadhana.
Chakra and all that is a very complicated issue. Unless you are sitting with an expert, we cannot do it on our own. You have heard the names of Shri Shankar or that Jaggi Maharaj. These are the people who take classes in doing this. If we attend that and we really understand how to evoke our chakras, then we can do that. Otherwise, an ordinary person, even if he enter into meditation, yoga, nidra, everything, awakening your chakras is a very tough task. It's tough. Kundalini Jagrut is very tough. Those whose Kundalini has been awakened, they reach Paramatma. Kundalini is a very tough thing. So ordinary people cannot do it. You have to go through rigorous training for that.
Yeah.
But today's topic is not that Kundalini and chakras.
No.
Our topic today was through
Topic
mental
and
resolve, through strong mental resolve, how you can identify yourself with Paramatma.
correct.
And for that, Paramatma said you have to do two things, patience and dispassion. You have to become dispassionate about the material world, and you have to have patience in your mind to become one with Paramatma. So these two things we have to learn. And that can be learned only by following the steps which Paramatma has given in this Adhyaya. Atma. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, to reach that Sarva Khalvidam Brahma, that sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So next few shlokas are wonderful shlokas. When we go through next few shlokas, they are the life-changing shlokas. They will give you enough confidence to continue your sadhana. Wonderful shlokas.
Okay. Thank you, Vikas ji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Clarification.
Any other questions?
Yes, Bhaiya, we have Ganpat Das ji. You can go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Kindly unmute Ganpat Das ji.
Please
please.
unmute yourself.
No, I have not raised hand.
Yes, please.
I have not raised hand.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem.
Okay, Bhaiya. So I think we are done with the session. Thank you so much, Bhaiya, for your insightful answers. For the final prarthana, I welcome Bhargavi Vappulaji from Bangalore, a sadhak in level 3, also served as technical assistant in 2nd and 3rd levels, been a part of Geeta Parivar since August 2022. Over to you.
Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevao Rajapriyam Dharma Santhapakam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, thank you for the wonderful recitation. May the week ahead be one of great realizations and beautiful learning. Until we see you on another session next week, thank you and Jai Shri Krishna.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायकु फल चारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बलधामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सस वदन तुम्हारो जस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाय राजपद दीना। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माही जल्दी लांघि गए अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के देते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे दे। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत ना आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा हे प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे बासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को भावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म है भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महा सुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि तेरा कीजे नाथ हृदय महाडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरण मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप।